I'm Teresa, welcome to my channel. Thank you for joining me here today. Today I'm going to celebrate the fact that we've just had Random Acts of Kindness Day, a day where you can do a good turn for another, send a little surprise gift to another, whether it be somebody that you know or leave something somewhere for a complete stranger to find. I'm going to be creating some bookmarks here using my gel plate and some stamps. Perfect little gift for sort of dropping off somewhere. These will hopefully find their way to the home of a member of public, a complete random stranger. They'll be packaged with a little note to sort of say, please take me home and enjoy me. And I think it's a really nice way of just sharing your creativity with other people. I'm going to clear these out of the way and I shall be back to show you how they're made. As always, I'll begin with a quick rundown of what I'm using today. I've got my large gel plate out. This is my 8 by 10 inch Jelly Arts brand gel printing plate. We are working on small pieces of card today, so if you've got a smaller plate, it's absolutely fine, don't worry about it. I just thought for speed I can probably do 2 or 3 at a time on a larger plate, and as I've got a larger plate I thought I'll use that one. I've got my brayer. This is my Speedball brayer. It could do with a clean. It's getting quite a layer of paint on it at the moment, but it's still working, so that's fine. The paint I'm going to use today, I fancied using a slightly different colour palette, so I've got my Deco Art Media Fluid Acrylics. So we've got Dioxazine Purple, Cobalt Turquoise Hue. I've got Cobalt Teal Hue, although it doesn't feel like there's much in there at the moment, so I'm not sure. I also have Green Gold and Quinacridone Gold, and they're just a really nice colour palette. I have used this colour palette before in the past, not for a while, but I just fancied using those colours today. As I said, I've got some bits of card. This is actually a mixed media paper. It's out of a pad, a Faber-Castell mixed media pad, and I've just trimmed this down to 3 inches by about 5.5 inches. I will be trimming them slightly before I'm finished, but I wanted something that was a similar size to what the finished size is going to be, just so I can see as I'm printing on there if I've got a pattern that I quite like. You could indeed just print one full-size, sheet, a large A4 sheet, and trim it down. That's absolutely fine. But I've just cut mine into roughly the size that I want, so I've got a stack of those. And now I have some mark making things. I have a couple of homemade items. This is just a piece of really heavy cardstock, and it's got drinking straws on it that I just cut into random lengths and stuck down with some double-sided tape. So I'm going to use that to create a pattern. A couple of wine corks here. One that's just left as a whole round edge. This one here I carved out half of it to make a semicircle. And then I've got a foam stamp. This one here. Please don't ask where I've had this from. I have no idea. I've had it a long time. Probably, I don't know, close on 15 years. And going back that far, I won't have paid a lot for it. It was probably from some sort of discount pound store, something like that. Wouldn't have been at any particular brand. Might well have been in a kids' craft selection. Don't know, but it's stayed with me all these years. I quite like it, this sort of flower seed head design. And it's just a nice sort of chunky foam stamp. So I'm using that one today. And I have a stencil. This is a large stencil. It's a Stencil Girl one, and the number is L266 if you're interested. And it's like a sort of doodled script design. So a couple of sort of shop bought items, a couple of homemade items. Got my paint, got my brayer, got my cardstock. For cleaning up, as usual, paper towel, some water in a spray bottle. I do have some baby oil as well that I do use sort of towards the end of the session. I normally give it a coat of baby oil before I put it away. But for the most part, if you see me cleaning with the paper towel, I'm just using water out of a spray bottle. So I'm going to get on and start creating some backgrounds. No real plan here. We're just layering up different designs, different colours. And then I'm going to finish these probably with some stamping, maybe some die cuts, and just turn them into some completed bookmarks for when we're finished. But it's going to begin with the first layer. I'm going to see if I've got any of this cobalt teal hue left in here. It doesn't sound that optimistic. There's a little bit in there. one of my favourite colours, so definitely time to replace that. Bit of green gold. And just create a nice even layer. Have a bit of scrap paper, just basic printer copier paper off to the sides, and I just roll the excess paint off my brayer onto that in between layers. So let's create some patterning. And I'm going to pop down a couple of pieces of this cut paper. Just going to take another scrap of this printer paper so I can press down without getting paint all over my hands. And that's the first printed layer on a couple of bookmarks there. And quick spray of water just to get rid of that paint. I'm going to go back with a couple of different colours. This time I'm going to pop the stencil down. I'm going to take my foam stamp I'm going to take these that I've already done one layer on, and take a second print. going to remove that stencil. I'm going to give that a moment to finish drying on the plate before adding a little paint over the top of it. I'm just going to add a thin layer of paint over this. Just going to add a little bit of detail and then put down some more pieces of card. And once again, I'm just going to clean this plate off. I love the grungy effect of that second lot of prints. So I'm just going to repeat this sort of process with various combinations of the colours and the mark making tools that I've got here, just to finish off the other pieces of cardstock that I've got cut. And then I'll be back to show you what I've got when I've finished.
I've been running most of my life, blowing smoke everywhere around. I've been searching, but I can't seem to find someone that can hold me through the night. I'll count to 10, then open up my eyes. If you're gone, I'll take it as a sign. But if you stay, then baby hold me tight and send me off with the words of a lullaby. With the words of a lullaby. Send me off with the words of a lullaby. I've been trying to make sense of it all.
the finished prints, I went back over those first couple with another layer. Just quite like that nice sort of random graffiti effect. Love this these couple here with that quinacridone gold showing through really bright against the deep sort of cobalt turquoise colours. Love those. And then we've got some more grungy ones, which again I really do like. I like the sort of partial printing, the distressed effect that we've got on a couple of these ones here. And just the different sort of shapes and layers showing through. So to turn these into bookmarks, I'm going to trim them down slightly so they're a little narrower. And I'm going to probably stamp or die cut some images to just put on them to decorate them, mount them onto a stiffer piece of card, and add a little bit of ribbon or twine or something at the top. And these are my finished bookmarks. I will just run through the stamps sets that I've used to create these in case you are interested. Now there are some visible image stamps. This one's called Jazz It Up, and I've used both the figures off this. Then we have the Live Life Now set, and I've used the butterflies. And also this set called Ahead of Our Time, and I've used this spiral with the clock. I've used some All and Create stamps. This one here is number 6 and this one is number 29. So I've used a couple of the birds off this set and I've just used this entire image. And then I've used some Lavinia stamps. Now, Lavinia stamps generally now put the name of the stamp on. They didn't always. So, for example, this tree here is called Celestial Tree. I know that because it says so. These two here do not have a name on them. So this is a fairy. She's like playing a trumpet, and this is 2 spotted toadstools. So I've used those. They will be on the Lavinia Stamps website if you're interested in buying them, but I don't know the name because it isn't written on the packaging. The only other thing that I've used is a white gel pen on a couple of them to create a few highlights. All the images are stamped with Ranger Archival ink. I like this. It stamps and dries well on top of acrylic paint. Some other inks take a long time to dry. This is my preferred one if I'm stamping on top of acrylic paint. And basically I trimmed down my prints to 2 inches wide and popped them onto some black cardstock, which is 3 by 7 inches. I rounded the top corners of every one of them. Some of them I've punched a hole and put a little metal eyelet in, some I haven't. But I've just then glued my trimmed prints on top of these. So this one here, I put that spiral on, really liked it. Added a few little white highlights to that. This one here, and the ribbon, by the way, on this is like some sari ribbon. Just tied that through there. This one here, I have the jazz trumpeter, really liked that. Just added some general sort of mixed fibres in the top. This one I stamped the butterflies, stamped the image twice so that I could sort of fill the space a little bit better, and just added some twine through the top. This one here has that tree stamped on it, just put it off centre because I knew it wasn't going to quite fit on width-wise, so I thought put it off centre and then I can trim it. And again, just stapled some sari ribbon on the top. This one has the jazz player playing the saxophone. Again, added a little bit of ribbon at the top, just trimmed it at an angle, added it with some staples. This was the All and Create background stamp with this sort of protracted sort of geometric look to it. Added a bit of gingham ribbon. Then we've got those toadstools, which I just highlighted the top with some white gel pen and popped a bit of sari ribbon through the top. And we have the butterflies, the birds, I do apologise. Again, added a couple of highlights with the white gel pen, bit of black sari ribbon. And finally we had that other fairy that's sort of playing the trumpet. Trimmed her down and added a bit of colourful sari ribbon at the top, again with some staples. I really like these. I really love how they turned out. They would make great presents. But I said at the beginning, this is for Random Acts of Kindness Day. These will be making their way to a random home. I'll be popping them somewhere where members of the public can find them, pick them up and take them away for free. I'll make a little printed tag that says, to the effect that says, you know, please, I'm free, please take me home, enjoy me, pass me on to somebody else if you want to. And I'll just pop them inside a plastic bag just to sort of protect them. But they'll find their way to a cafe, bookshop, possibly the library, something like that, and just be tucked away for somebody to stumble upon them and find them, and hopefully just bring a smile to their face and make their day a little bit more enjoyable. So as always, if you enjoyed this video, please leave me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you again soon. But for now, that's all. Bye.